Okay, so now in part 2 we'll see single source shortest path problem with one algorithm, that is Bellman-Ford algorithm. So those who are coming directly to part 2, I will suggest you to see the part 1 to know the basics of shortest path problem. So before going to discuss the Bellman-Ford problem, we'll discuss some basic notations that are there in all the shortest path problem. Also, those who want to know, all the notations are referred from the Corman book, that is Introduction to Algorithm. So before going to all the algorithm, let's see some notation for each vertices. So for each vertices we maintain these two attributes. One is v dot d. In some books, basically you're maintaining an array. You can also write like d of v. Some of the books are writing like this, d of v. So we're maintaining an array. For each vertices, we are maintaining a shortest path estimate, that is shortest path value from source to that particular vertex. And there is another attribute that we are maintaining, v dot pi, which is the predecessor of v. Basically, so from which vertices it has reached to the v. So basically predecessor of v. So basically these two notations we will use for all the algorithms, not only Bellman-Ford. So all the shortest path algorithm start with this initialization. So basically we are initialize single source, that is we have given a graph and a source vertices, and for each vertices v in the set of vertices, we are initializing v dot e value is infinite because we have not calculated till yet. So we are initializing that this is the infinite value, and v dot pi to null, that is there is no predecessor of vertices yet. So this loop will go for all the vertices. And for the source, and we know the source to source distance is 0, so s dot d value will be 0. There's only one loop, so what could be the time complexity of this algorithm? It is order of v, that we are iterating through all the vertices. After initialization we will have v dot pi, that is there is no predecessor of all the vertices, and s dot d is 0 and v dot d is to infinity for all v minus s. So basically this initialize all the algorithms, shortest path algorithms. And there is a relaxation process also. So we have initialized v dot d to infinity, but can we improve it? So for this we maintain attribute, we have already discussed, we maintain attribute v dot d. So can we improve the current shortest path estimate, that is currently that value of shortest path estimate, that is v dot d, by going through u and taking u comma v. That is relaxation process checks if there is an edge from u to v. So if v dot e, the estimated value from source to v, is greater than u dot v plus weight of uv, that is if we consider u and the weight of the from u to v, if the value of this is less than v dot d, we can update the v dot d with this value. That is, we are assuming that now we are taking the root from the u, and since we have taken the root from u, we update the predecessor of v as u. See the example. Suppose till now v dot d value is 9, but if we consider a path from u, that is we are going through u, then from source to u there is a value 5, and we add the weight of 2, the v dot d value will be 7, which is less than 9, so we can update it to 7. That is, we are relaxing the age. So basically relax term is used to relax the constraint, that is the constraint which comes from the triangle inequality, that is d of v should be less than d of u plus weight of u comma v. So basically to satisfy this constraint, where we are checking this condition. So to ensure the triangle inequality, we are using this condition and we are updating the v dot d value, that is this condition should always be satisfied, and that's why this process is named as relax. So this is like saying relax, we got the condition satisfied, so there is no pressure to satisfy this constraint later on. So if we have updated it here, that is the triangle inequality property is maintained, so that's why we are calling it relaxation process. So all the algorithms will use these two process, initialization and relaxation. So time complexity, what would be the time complexity of this relax process? Order of 1, because we have only one age and set of vertices and we are just updating the value, so the complexity will be order. Now these basic processes are common to all the algorithms, all the shortest path algorithm. All the algorithms differed only in the order in which they relax each edge. So the order of relaxing all the edges is different to different algorithms, and how many times they do that. Basically, this is the difference between. Let's discuss the Bellman-Ford algorithm. So basically, Bellman-Ford algorithm applies a brute force strategy. It allows negative weight edges. So our graph can have negative weight edges. However, as we have seen in the previous part, that it should not contain negative weight cycle. So until and unless there is no negative weight cycle, it will work fine. And what it does, it compute v dot d, that is shortest path estimate from source to v, and v dot pi, that is predecessor of v, for all the vertices that belongs to v, and after iteration it returns true if there is no negative weight cycle. It returns true also the solution that is embedded in the graph, and if there is a negative weight cycle, then it will return false. So basically this algorithm relaxes each edge progressively, and at every relaxation process it decreases the estimate of v dot d on the weight of the shortest path from S to each vertex until it achieves the actual shortest weight, that is u comma v. So before going to algorithm, see the example. Suppose this is our graph that contain negative edges also. So we have 5 vertices S, T, X, Y, Z, and each edge has some weight. Our source vertex is S. Now all the algorithm initialize the graph once. So if you can see, all the vertices have some value inside it. So basically inside the node or inside the vertices, the value is of v dot d. So s dot d value is 0, y dot d value is infinity, z dot d value is infinity, and so on. So initially, apart from source, all the vertices have shortest estimate is infinite, because we have not calculated yet the shortest estimate. Now what algorithms do, it progressively it lacks all the edges, and it does for the n number of times, and n number of times here, n is number of vertices. So till the number of vertices, in each iteration it try to relax all the edges. So in the first iteration, what it does, so it relax all the edges, because suppose, so for this edge, let's say s to t, we have v is t, so t dot d, that is infinity, is greater than 0 plus weight of st. Weight of st is 6, that is 6. So 0 is greater, infinity is greater than 6. Then the relaxation process will update this as 6, and also here it will update 7, and also the y dot pi, that is predecessor of pi, will be s, and predecessor of t, that is t dot pi, will also be s. So this will be represented by a shaded arrow or dark arrow in the graph, in the example. So if there is a dark arrow uh, from between two vertices, then you can assume that the it is showing the predecessor of that vertex, and the shortest path estimate is inside the vertex value, and in between that, so you can see, so these two will be updated. Let's see whether it will update or not. So for example, let's consider y and z. So right now, up to y value is infinity and z is infinity. So z, that is infinity, if it is greater than infinity plus 9, then only the relaxers will be updated. So there is no estimate, so this z value will not be updated, and x value will not be updated. So in first iteration, these two value will be updated. So t and y will be updated with 6 and 7, the shortest path estimate, and the arrow, the shadow is showing that their predecessor is s. So s to t is 6 and s to y is 7, the shortest path estimate. However, in next iteration, what can happen? So again the same process will go for all the edges. Now there will be some changes in other edges also. You can see up to x. So x in till now the shortest path estimate is infinity. We will check whether we get a better path estimate if v comes from t. So up to t is 6, so v dot u, that is v dot t, is 6, and weight of the t to s is 5, which is 11. It is the shortest path, so we can update it x to 11. Now there is another path. You can see if x, so right now we have relaxed for this edge, Now consider this edge. There is, we have checked from t also. Now let's check from y also. So from y, 7 minus 3. 7 minus 3 means 4. So basically the short this edge estimated better. So from 11 we can update it to 4, and the predecessor will be y of x. Similarly for z, we have two paths. We can come from y, we can come from t. So from y we have 7 plus 9, 16, and from t, 6 minus 4, that is 2. So after second iteration, this all values will be changed. So the value that are changed is, one is 4, from which is, we have seen the example from, we have, if we come from y it will be 4, and here it will be 2 at z. Now in the next iteration, since you can see at t we have estimate 6 from source. However, if we come from x, we change our path from x. So if t is reached from, if we go to t through x, then what will the path length? So you can check till x it is 4, shortest path estimate from s to x. Now if we relax this edge, that is this edge, relaxing means we can check 6. If 6 is greater than 4 and weight of xt, that is minus 2, that will be 2, which is 6 is greater than 2, then we update the shortest path estimate of t. So t dot d will be 2. So if we come from x, the t dot d value will be updated and it will be 2. Now this is updated. In the next iteration, only this line will be updated, because 2 minus 4, the z will be minus 2. So initially there was 6, so that's why the z value was 2. Now t is 2, so 2 minus 4 will be minus 2. So z value will also be updated, and after this there is no updation in the shortest path estimate of the vertices. Now this is the graph where, this is the solution graph where each vertices have the shortest path estimate, and the arrows and shaded arrows are showing the predecessor of that vertices. Now after this, if there is a negative weight edge is there, then now to check whether there exists a negative weight edge, we cross check all the edges, whether any vertices estimate, shortest path estimates, is greater than d of u plus w of u comma v. If it is there, then there is definitely a negative weight cycle. So if it is there, then we will return false, otherwise we will return this solution. So basically now we can go to the algorithm. So in this algorithm there are three parts. So first part is the initialization that takes order of v, so number of vertices, and the from second to fourth outer loop will go for or up to number of vertices, and inside this, for each iteration we are relaxing all the edges, that is number of edges. So for each outer loop we are running inner loop for number of edges time. So basically 2 to 4 will have order of v into e, specifically order of number of vertices and number of edges. and 5 to 7 is actually for the checking the negative weight S cycle. So negative weight cycle, if it is there, then this condition will be true. After the process of relaxing from 2 to 4, so if graph has the negative weight cycle, then this condition will be true, and the algorithm will return false. Or if this condition is not true, that is, there is no negative weight cycle, the answer will be written as true, that is, solution is found, and the solution is actually embedded in the graph in terms of v dot d, and you can extract the minimum value, shortest path estimate, by looking at v dot d value, and if you want to construct the path, you can check the v dot pi value. So this is the Bellman-Ford algorithm. You can see, so this is for order of e times, order of number of e times. So overall the complexity will be order of, so the largest value is order of v into e, so order of number of vertices and number of edges from step number 2 to 4. Apart from that, other two values are small, that is step number 1 and step number 5 to 7 are smaller compared to 2 to 4. That's why the overall complexity will be order of v to e. That's it. We can in the next lecture we will see another algorithm for shortest path, single source shortest path problem, which is Dijkstra algorithm.